What were you ashamed of being in the council estate growing up? And why?
Just how the lack of resources were evident, because you wouldn't go the same holidays as other people, you wouldn't have the same experiences as other people, you wouldn't even eat the same foods as other people, and you'd feel shame about maybe having holes in your clothes or getting free school meals or clothing grants. And I think it's not a rare experience. Like every kid.
No, that's true. Absolutely. Like
every kid wants to just fit in. So I think.
I mean, fit in, and sometimes you just want to have the stuff. It was weird learning that like you will never be accepted enough. But there's that element of like, I don't know why we have this fucking thing of like, if I get accepted to a high degree, then I'll feel good about myself.
Yeah, and we probably don't really psychologically make sense of that at that age either. And some of the experiences were actually physically difficult, like not eating nutritious meals. Has a physical effect on how you look. You become a bit overweight.
You familiar with the old mustard sandwich?
Like tomato sauce sandwiches. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, my brother, let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Like things like that, or actually not having warm jackets in the winter. There's actually physical emotions felt because of the socioeconomic background that you have.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just the bad outcomes that those circumstances give you. But yeah, just at that age, like comparison is probably the most activating muscle in your brain, because in a high school there is going to be 100 people in your class, so you have so many different data points to compare yourself to as well. Whereas growing up, like when you're born, like no kid is ashamed to be born into a lower socioeconomic background because they don't know it yet.
I mean, especially as a baby, you're fucking happy with everything. Everything's mind-blowing. Everything's amazing.
Exactly. So it's only when you have those external comparators to compare yourself to, you then realise by proxy that you
but there is something that we're looking for, because I've noticed that there's something like you feel a lack and you're trying to justify the lack, and you look at the other things you don't have in your life compared to others, and you start telling yourself that if I had the thing they had, then this lack would be over. Only to then realize when you get to that level that wasn't what the lack was about at all. Like so many celebrities have talked about, like Jim Carrey has this quote about, I wish everyone would become rich and famous so they know that's not what they were looking for anyway in the first place.
Yeah. There's a really great quote by a guy called Naval Ravikant, and it's around desire, and he says, it's easier to achieve your material desires than to renounce them. It's so hard to take away these flashy things that you so desperately desire.
Yeah.
And I've lived an experience, like I've lived a very muted version of that. Like I get to fly to London for work and stay in hotels and wear a suit to work, and I realise none of those things make me happy.
Yeah, they're costumes, isn't it?
All I care about is like the fact that I can eat, put food on the table, have a nice home where I feel safe and comfortable. That as a baseline is good enough for me. Everything else is a bonus. I have friends who have Porsches, McLarens, Range Rovers, and they aren't typically ecstatic all of the time. I think the dream life it's not having no problems, it's having problems that you want to solve.
Yeah, that's fair as well. I can see that.
So having a worthwhile career, having a relationship that was worth fighting for, and a hobby or interest that you want to get better at, I think is important enough.